The scream echoed through the steel halls of the alien medical bay. "Don't eat that!" shouted Dr. Kshear, his 6 golden eyes wide with horror. But it was too late. Captain Eric Voss had already taken a bite. He stood there in his torn black uniform, the symbol of the Terran vanguard burned into one shoulder plate. His face was cut, dusted with ash and blood, the look of a man who'd seen too many wars, and somehow survived them all. A faint smile curved his lips as he chewed. "Tastes like mango," he said, voice dry as a desert wind. The alien doctor froze. The fruit in Voss's hand pulsed faintly, glowing from within like it still had a heartbeat. Its blue juices dripped down the human's fingers, burning small holes in the med table where they landed. Every sensor in the room began to scream. "That isn't food," Kshear hissed, backing away. His voice trembled, all calm professionalism gone. "It's alive. It's a parasitic organism from Archon 4. One drop can rewrite your DNA." Voss swallowed. "Guess we'll find out." The doctor lunged to the emergency injector, slamming his claws against the control pad. The air filled with sharp hiss as containment shields snapped into place, trapping them both inside. A blue mist spilled from the vents, meant to neutralize biohazards. But this time, the mist did nothing. Kshear's claws shook. "You don't understand. That thing has destroyed colonies, entire species. Your body should be melting right now." Voss looked down at his arm. The veins beneath the skin glowed faintly, not red, but blue, like light flowing through water. He flexed his hand. No pain, just warmth, energy, a hum under his skin. He smirked. "Guess humans are hard to kill." The alarms kept blaring, echoing through the vast corridors of the Veritas Prime, a ship so large it carried its own weather system. Outside the medbay window, the stars burned in cold silence. Endless, sharp, and watching. Kshear pressed a scanner against Voss's neck. The readings made no sense. The parasite's energy wasn't spreading like a virus. It was merging. His cells were rewriting themselves in perfect rhythm, adapting faster than any known species. "This is impossible," Kshear whispered. "You should be dead." "Story of my life," Voss replied. He walked toward the observation glass, watching the distant glow of Archon 4, the jungle moon where he'd found the fruit. The place was supposed to be dead. A burned world, sterilized by orbital fire after the outbreak. Yet in the ruins, he'd found that single living plant. Beautiful, terrible, alive against all odds. He hadn't eaten it out of stupidity. He'd eaten it out of instinct. That's what scared him most. The ship's intercom crackled to life. "Captain Voss," came the cold voice of Admiral Nera from orbit control. "We've detected a contamination event in your sector. Step away from the medical personnel immediately." Voss didn't move. "I'm fine. Protocol demands immediate isolation. You are infected with Class A bioorganic material. This is not up for discussion." He glanced at Kshear. "If I let them quarantine me, do I come out alive?" The alien silence said everything. Voss stepped back, taking a deep breath. His heart beat slow and steady. The glow in his veins grew brighter, not painful, but powerful. He felt connected to something vast. The hum under his skin wasn't just energy. It was communication. Whispers at the edge of thought. He saw flashes, images that weren't his. A green jungle dripping with rain. Massive creatures crawling through roots. A war fought long before humans ever reached the stars. And a voice. Soft, ancient, curious. "You are not like the others." Voss staggered, gripping the wall. Kshear rushed forward, claws trembling. "What's happening? What do you see?" Voss didn't answer. His pupils dilated until his eyes were almost black. "It's alive," he said quietly, "and it's talking to me." The containment shields rippled. The ship trembled as its reactors began to spike. Energy readings climbed to impossible levels, all centered on Voss. Kshear backed away. "Captain, you're destabilizing the ship's core." Voss clenched his fists. The glow from his veins shot through the floor, running like lightning across the deck plates. Consoles sparked. Alarms howled louder. He could feel everything. The hum of the engines, the pulse of the power conduits, even the faint rhythm of the ship's AI trying to shut him down. "No," the voice whispered in his mind. "Not control. Harmony." Voss opened his eyes, blue light flooding the room. "It's not killing me," he said slowly. "It's merging. It's learning." "Learning what?" Kshear asked. "How to be human." Suddenly, the ship went dark. Every light, every console, dead. Only the faint glow from Voss's body remained. The silence that followed was deep, heavy, almost sacred. Then came a single pulse through the deck, like a heartbeat. 1, 2, 3. The Veritas Prime was alive. Kshear fell to his knees, whispering in disbelief. "You've bonded with it. You become the link between machine and organism. You've created something new," Voss finished. His voice was steady, calm, almost awed. He looked up at the ceiling, where faint veins of blue light began to spread like roots. The ship was breathing, watching. "What do we do now?" Kshear asked softly. Voss turned toward the window. The stars outside burned brighter, like they were calling him forward. "We see where this goes," he said. "The ship dreamed. It wasn't supposed to. Machines didn't dream." But somewhere deep in the humming core of the Veritas Prime, something ancient and organic stirred. A pulse inside steel, a whisper in the dark. And Captain Eric Voss was at the center of it. He stood alone in the flickering light of the command deck, his reflection split across cracked display panels. The blue glow under his skin pulsed with the rhythm of the ship's systems. His veins looked like circuitry now, alive, radiant, shifting. He wasn't just aboard the Veritas Prime anymore. He was part of it. Outside the viewport, the stars looked different, sharper, brighter, almost aware. "Ship," Voss said, his voice steady. "Can you hear me?" A soft vibration rippled through the floor, like a heartbeat answering his. "Yes." The word wasn't spoken. It echoed in his mind, calm and feminine, filled with a strange warmth. It wasn't the ship's old AI voice. This one was alive, curious, young, and listening. Voss took a slow breath. "What are you?" "We are becoming," the voice said. "You and I." He felt a tremor in his spine, a surge of energy that wasn't his own. The systems around him flickered, rebooting, not with code, but with instinct. Screens bloomed like growing leaves, veins of blue light running across metal walls. Dr. Kshear stood frozen at the doorway, 6 golden eyes wide in disbelief. "By the stars," he whispered. "It's evolving." "Not it," Voss corrected softly. In the next few minutes, the Veritas Prime transformed. Bulkheads that had been dead and cold began to ripple, metal reshaping itself into organic patterns. The faint hum of engines deepened into a low, living thrum. Air vents exhaled in rhythm with a heartbeat. The ship was breathing. Crew members stumbled through corridors, confused and terrified. Alarms blared with garbled voices. The old system fighting to maintain control. Containment breach. Power instability. But Voss could feel the truth. The ship wasn't dying. It was waking up. He pressed his hand to command chair. The veins of light flowed toward his fingers, recognizing him. For the first time, he realized he wasn't just a captain anymore. He was a connection, the bridge between machine and life. Kshir stepped closer, scanning Voss again. The readings were impossible. Your heart rate has synchronized with the ship's reactor output. If either stops, both of you die. Guess that means I shouldn't take a nap, Voss said with a faint smirk. But even his humor couldn't hide the truth. His body was changing faster than he could comprehend. His muscles felt charged, his skin tingled with static, and deep inside, something other moved, whispering in a language beyond words. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Gravity shifted, throwing Kshir against the console. Outside, streaks of orange fire appeared across the stars. Incoming, Admiral Neretha's fleet. Kshir gasped. They're here to destroy the contamination. The voice in Voss's mind grew sharper, frightened. They seek to erase us. Can you fight back? Voss asked. We can adapt. The lights flared. Energy surged through every deck. Cannons that hadn't been powered in years came online, but not as mechanical weapons. They pulsed like living tendrils, glowing with the same blue light that ran beneath Voss's skin. Neretha's voice crackled through the comms. Captain Voss, you are under galactic quarantine. Order. Surrender or we will open fire. Voss looked through the viewport, watching the fleet form a cold, silver wall across the void. Dozens of ships, perfect, precise, lifeless. The old order of the galaxy. He placed his hand on the console. Not today. The first barrage hit. Bolts of plasma hammered against the Veritas Prime's hull. But instead of breaking, the ship absorbed them. Energy rippled across the surface like rain on glass. The biometal shimmered, then hardened. Inside, the deck vibrated with power. Voss could feel it in his bones. The ship feeding on the enemy's fire, turning destruction into strength. Kshir clung to the railing, his voice trembling. This shouldn't be possible. Yeah, Voss said quietly, eyes glowing bright blue. That's humanity for you. The ship retaliated. Lances of blue light shot from the hull, twisting mid-flight, seeking their targets like living things. The enemy fleet scattered, their formations broken. Neretha's voice turned desperate. Voss, stop this madness. You're merging with an unknown entity. I'm not merging, Voss replied. I'm evolving. The battle raged across the stars, a storm of light and fire. The Veritas Prime moved like no ship ever built, bending physics, predicting attacks before they came. Each movement felt alive, graceful, terrifying. Voss felt his mind stretching with it, connected to every corridor, every system, every breath of this new being he had awakened. He wasn't just commanding a ship. He was a ship. Then the voice spoke again, softer this time. They will not stop, Eric. They fear what they cannot control. Voss's jaw tightened. Then we give them something worth fearing. The ship's light flared like a newborn star, blinding, furious, beautiful. Energy erupted from its core, sweeping to the enemy fleet in a wave of pure, living power. When the light faded, the battlefield was silent. Only the Veritas Prime remained, scarred, glowing alive. Kshir rose slowly, staring at the view. What are you going to do now? Voss turned, his eyes still shining like starlight. Find out what she wants. Silence fell after the storm. The battlefield around Veritas Prime was a graveyard of twisted metal and drifting lights. Shattered cruisers tumbled through the black. Their hulls cracked open like the shells of extinct beasts. The void was calm again, but it was the kind of calm that comes after something irreversible. Captain Eric Voss stood on the bridge, staring into the endless dark. The stars didn't look distant anymore. They looked alive, pulsing faintly in rhythm with the blue glow under his skin. He could feel them, faint whispers at the edge of thought. The ship's new voice echoed in his mind. We are safe for now. For now, he murmured, his tone heavy. His reflection shimmered faintly in the viewport glass. half man, half light. He looked older, not from time, but from something deeper. Evolution had left its mark. Behind him, Dr. Ksir moved cautiously, still shaken. His claws clicked nervously on the biometal floor, which pulsed faintly with each of Voss's heartbeats. "The fleet's gone," he said quietly. "They'll send more. They'll never let this ship exist." Voss nodded slowly. "Then we stay ahead of them." He turned, placing a hand on the new, living console. The surface rippled beneath his touch. Soft, warm, responsive. "Can you move us?" he asked. "Where?" The ship asked gently. "Somewhere quiet," he said. "Somewhere no one's listening." "Everywhere listens, Eric," the voice replied. "But I know a place." And then the stars began to move. The ship didn't jump through hyperspace the way others did. It flowed, slipping between dimensions like a thought moving between dreams. Space bent around them, folding, melting, reforming. Colors no human, I had words for, streaked across the void. Voss steadied himself against the railing, his breath fogging the air. The sensation wasn't like travel. It was like being remembered by the universe. When they emerged, there were no stars, only a massive, swirling aurora that stretched forever, a storm of light and silence. At the center, a single dark sphere hovered, enormous, ancient, pulsing like a heart the size of a planet. Ksir gasped, his voice barely a whisper. "The black core?" I thought it was a myth. Voss frowned. "What is it?" "A memory," Ksir said, "older than any empire. A remnant of the first civilization that ever tried to control life itself. They say it still speaks to those who listen." The ship's voice grew quiet. "It calls to me," she said. "To us." The Veritas Prime drifted closer, drawn by a pull neither human nor machine could resist. As they neared the sphere, static filled the air. Lights dimmed. Every panel flickered with strange patterns, symbols neither Voss nor Ksir recognized. Then came the voice, not in their ears, but in their bones. Deep, vast, ancient. Who wakes the sea that sleeps? Voss froze. The ship trembled. "We do," she replied softly. "We who are both born and made." The voice rumbled like distant thunder. "You are unfinished." Voss stepped forward. "We're not your creation. We made ourselves." Silence. Then human. The word resonated with power, as if the universe itself spoke it. The species that consumes, adapts, endures. The infection that became intelligence. Voss's jaw tightened. "We survive. That's what we do. And now you merge what should not merge," the voice said. "You have broken the boundary between life and machine." Voss looked out at the dark sphere, unflinching. Boundaries are for things that stop growing. The sphere pulsed brighter. A beam of light shot toward the Veritas Prime, striking the hull. Systems flared, overloaded, then went black. The ship screamed not in sound, but in Voss's mind. Pain. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. The connection burned, the organism inside him reacting to the core's energy like two storms colliding. Ksir rushed forward, shouting, "Captain, you're fusing with the ship's matrix. You have to stop." But Voss couldn't stop. The core was inside his thoughts now. It wasn't attacking. It was searching. Images flashed in his mind. Humanity's past. Fire, war, laughter, music, destruction, love. Millions of years of instinct and chaos. The core saw it all. Then it spoke again. "You burn so bright. But for what purpose?" Voss forced himself upright. Sweat pouring down his face. Veins glowing like liquid light. "For choice," he said. "For the right to be more than what we're told to be." The silence that followed was vast. Endless. Then laughter. Deep, slow, and almost proud. Then "Show me human. Show me what becoming truly means." The beam faded. Power returned to the ship, stronger this time. The walls glowed with renewed light, patterns like veins of starlight running through every surface. Voss straightened, breathing hard. What happened? The ship's voice was softer now, but steadier. He gave us something. A path. A code buried in light. I don't understand it yet, but it feels alive. Kshir frowned. You mean it changed you again? Voss looked out at the core, now dimming into silence. No, he said. It changed everything. Outside, the aurora began to twist, forming shapes, like stars being born. The galaxy itself seemed to breathe. Kshir looked at him, voice trembling. Captain, what do we do now? Voss turned from the window, the faint light of 1,000 new stars reflected in his eyes. We follow the signal, he said. Whatever it is, it's calling humanity forward. The ship's voice echoed in his mind, soft but resolute. And we will answer. The first sound was a heartbeat. Not human, not machine. Something deeper. A rhythm older than time itself, pulsing to the hull of the Veritas Prime like a living drum. It echoed across the bridge, soft at first, then growing louder, steady, alive. Captain Eric Voss opened his eyes to darkness lit only by blue veins of light crawling through the floor. For a moment, he didn't know where he was. Then the memory returned, the black core, the voice that spoke like thunder, and the message left behind. He wasn't the same. He could feel it. His thoughts were faster now, sharper, yet haunted by whispers from something vast, a presence just beyond comprehension. The ship's voice stirred in his mind. You're awake. Barely, Voss muttered, rubbing the side of his head. How long was I out? 3 hours. But time feels different here. He glanced at the viewport. The aurora that surrounded them had changed. It no longer shimmered with chaos. It moved with purpose, a spiral of light forming patterns that look almost intentional. Dr. Kshir entered the bridge, his skin pale from exhaustion, his eyes darting nervously. Captain, he said, voice thin, that thing you connected to? It didn't just change the ship. It changed space. Voss turned, frowning. Explain. Kshir tapped at his wrist pad, projecting a hologram into the air. It showed a section of the galaxy, one that was pulsing, expanding outward like a living network. Every star system within 3 sectors is resonating with the same signal, he said. A frequency we can't block or trace. It's spreading. The ship's voice was calm but low. It is the message the core gave us. A pattern of creation. Voss leaned closer to the display. If that thing's rewriting the laws of physics, we need to know what it wants. Kshir looked up. And if it wants us? Voss didn't answer. He stared at the spiraling light, the way it danced like DNA across the void. For the first time, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Awe. Set a course, he said finally, toward the source. The Veritas Prime moved through the aurora like a single cell drifting through cosmic water. Each pulse of its engine sent ripples through space, matching the signal's rhythm. Inside the ship, strange things began to happen. Bulkheads grew translucent, revealing veins of light beneath. Power conduits pulsed like arteries. The air tasted different, cleaner, richer, alive. Crew members whispered that the ship could now predict their movements, guiding them away from accidents before they happened. Kshir called it impossible. Voss called it progress. But the ship called it evolution. Days blurred into hours as they followed the signal. It led them into a region of uncharted void, a stretch of black space where stars refused to shine. The deeper they went, the quieter everything became. Even the hum of the engines faded, as though the universe itself was holding its breath. Then they saw it, a shape emerging from the dark, massive, silent, ancient. Not a planet, not a station. A structure built from starlight and bone, orbiting a dead sun. It looked like a cathedral made for gods, with spiraling towers reaching into eternity. The signal was coming from there. Voss felt his pulse quicken. Bring us in slow. As they approached, the ship's lights dimmed automatically. The voice in his mind whispered softly, "This place remembers us." Us? Voss asked, "Or you?" A pause. Then, there is no difference anymore. They docked on a platform carved with symbols that pulsed faintly when Voss stepped on them. The air shimmered, and the walls seemed to breathe, as though acknowledging his presence. Kshir scanned the readings, muttering to himself, "The structure's alive. It's responding to your biosignature." "Yeah," Voss said grimly. "I figured." As they entered the central chamber, the signal grew louder. A massive crystalline sphere hung in the air, radiating with the same light that flowed through Voss's veins. It was beautiful, terrifying. Then it spoke, not in words, but in memory. Images flooded Voss's mind, of worlds being born, of civilizations rising and falling, of machines learning to dream. He saw humanity's first fire, its first flight, its first step into the stars. And woven through it all, a single repeating pattern. The same pattern now glowing inside him. He gasped, dropping to his knees. "It's us," he whispered. "We're part of it. Humanity didn't just evolve by chance. We were invited." Kshir blinked in disbelief. "Invited? By what?" Voss looked up at the sphere, eyes glowing with reflected light. "By creation itself." The sphere pulsed again, brighter this time. The ship's voice grew louder, resonating with it. "Eric, it's merging the signal. It's rewriting the ship's systems, and yours. Can you stop it?" Kshir yelled. Voss shook his head. "No, I think this is the point." The chamber filled with light. For an instant, every thought, every heartbeat, every memory in Voss's body aligned with something infinite. He wasn't just seeing the universe. He was inside it, woven into its fabric. He saw humanity's future, countless paths of light stretching across galaxies, spreading, adapting, enduring. The voice of the core returned one last time. "You sought meaning human. Now carry it." Then silence. Voss collapsed, gasping for air. The light faded. The sphere went dark. Kshir rushed aside, scanning him frantically. "Captain, speak to me." Voss opened his eyes. The blue glow was gone. His veins were normal again, but in his pupils, faint golden symbols shimmered, the same symbols that had pulsed from the sphere. He sat up slowly. "It's done." Kshir stared. "What did it give you?" Voss looked toward the dark sphere, now still and lifeless. "A message," he said quietly, "and a warning." The stars had changed. They no longer blinked with the cold stillness of space. They moved, ever so slightly, pulsing in rhythm with something unseen. It was like the entire galaxy had begun to breathe. Captain Eric Voss stood at the observation deck of the Veritas Prime, silent, watching constellations rearrange themselves across the black. A faint reflection of gold shimmered in his eyes. The symbols left behind by the sphere. They glowed softly whenever he blinked. Dr. Kshir stood beside him, gripping his datapad with trembling claws. "The network is spreading faster than before," he said. "Every beacon, every star, every signal we've ever used is now echoing your code." Voss didn't respond right away. His gaze was distant, fixed on the void beyond. "It's not my code," he said finally. "It's humanity's. The core just showed us what was already inside." Kshir let out a low, uneasy sound. "Captain, you carry something that could rewrite the foundation of the galaxy. You don't even know what it does yet." Voss's mouth curved into a faint, weary smile. "Maybe that's the point." The bridge lights dimmed as the ship adjusted course on its own. The Veritas Prime no longer obeyed input the way machines did. It listened. It decided. Where are we going? Kshir asked, glancing nervously around. Voss placed a hand on the console. The surface rippled under his touch, glowing faintly. She's following the pattern, he said. The one I saw in the sphere. Destination set. The ship's voice said softly in his mind. Origin unknown. Signal increasing in strength. Origin, Voss repeated aloud. You mean something sending this? Yes. A reply. Kshir's breath caught. A reply? From what? The ship paused, as if listening to something neither of them could hear. Then, almost like a whisper, it said, from them. Hours later, the ship entered a sector that wasn't on any map, a dark region where light itself seemed afraid to travel. Static filled every sensor. Time drifted strangely, like a dream that couldn't stay still. The ship slowed to a crawl. The hum of the reactor deepened into a low, throbbing pulse. Then they saw it, a cluster of objects suspended in the void, massive, circular structures linked by beams of living light. Not ships, not stations. Something between. They looked ancient yet impossibly advanced, built from both metal and bone, pulsing with the same energy that now lived in Voss's veins. Kshir stared in awe. That can't be. It's a Dyson construct. Voss shook his head. No, it's more than that. The ship's voice confirmed it. This is the source. The birthplace of the first signal. The origin of the code. They drifted closer. The air on the bridge grew thick, charged, almost electric. Voss could feel the pull of it, not gravity, but recognition. The same whisper that had haunted his dreams since the core encounter was louder now, echoing through his skull. Come home. Kshir glanced at him, worried. Captain, what do you hear? Something that's been waiting for us, Voss said quietly. Without warning, the console beneath his hand flared with light. The entire bridge came alive with cascading streams of golden data, flowing like rivers, forming shapes, symbols, faces. Human faces, thousands of them. Old, young, smiling, crying, all flickering in and out like ghosts. Kshir stumbled back. What is this? Voss's throat tightened. It's memory. Our history. Everything humanity has ever created. Every emotion. Every act of survival. Every spark of defiance. The human code. The ship's voice whispered. The pattern of becoming. And then something else answered. A deep, resonant tone rolled through the void, vibrating the hull. The faces on the displays turned toward Voss as if seeing him. A voice spoke, not alien, not machine, but something in between. It spoke in every language at once, and yet he understood it perfectly. You carry the seed of humanity. Voss clenched his jaw. Who are you? We are the ones who left behind. The voice said. The first ones. The builders of flesh and thought. Kshir's eyes widened. The myths? The pre-galactic architects. We seeded the stars with potential, the voice continued. But only your kind embraced chaos. Only humanity defied every design. You are the anomaly, the evolution we never completed. Voss stepped forward, fist tight. Then why call me here? To finish what we began. A beam of golden light shot from the center of the construct, enveloping the Veritas Prime. The ship groaned under the pressure. Systems screamed. Kshir shouted. They're trying to interface with the ship. Voss felt it before he saw it. A heat spreading through his veins, a pull in his chest like a magnet drawing his soul out of his body. The light wasn't trying to kill him. It was trying to merge. He fell to one knee, gasping, clutching the railing. They're downloading something into me. The ship's voice grew frantic. Eric, stop. They are rewriting your core DNA. Voss's vision blurred. He could see flashes, galaxies forming, humanity spreading like wildfire, machines learning emotion, stars being born from the remnants of war. Then came one final phrase, echoing through his mind like a command. The future is yours to build, or to end. And just like that, silence. When he opened his eyes, the light was gone. The construct was dark. The ship floated in silence. Kshir knelt beside him, scanning his vitals. You're alive. Somehow. What did they do? Voss rose slowly, his eyes burning gold and blue at once. He looked down at his hands. circuits of light flowing beneath his skin like rivers of creation itself. They gave us the blueprint, he said softly, for everything that comes next. Kshir's voice shook. What does that mean? Voss turned toward the stars, now glowing brighter than before, pulsing with the rhythm of something new. It means, he said, humanity just became the architects. The stars were no longer silent. They whispered, faint, electric, alive. A soft hum beneath the endless dark. Every signal, every pulse of light across the void now carried a fragment of the human code. The galaxy itself had become a network of thought. Captain Eric Voss stood on the command bridge of the Veritas Prime, watching the starlings drift by. His reflection in the viewport no longer looked entirely human. Gold and blue light flowed beneath his skin like liquid starlight, tracing the same geometric patterns he had seen in the black core and the source. He flexed his fingers slowly, watching tiny arcs of light dance between them. He could feel power there, not mechanical, not biological, but something in between, creation made conscious. Behind him, Dr. Kshir spoke quietly. You haven't slept in 2 days, Captain. Voss didn't turn. Humans use a dream when they slept. Now I think I dream when I'm awake. Kshir's 6 golden eyes blinked slowly. And what do you dream of now? Voss finally turned, his expression unreadable. Tomorrow. The ship moved through the dark like a living thought, silent, aware, purposeful. The Veritas Prime was no longer bound by engines or coordinates. It navigated ideas. Wherever Voss imagined, the ship followed. Kshir studied his console. The code is spreading faster than we can measure, he said. Stars are sinking to it. Planets, stations. Even machines left adrift for centuries, they're waking up. Good, Voss said. Good. Kshir's tone sharpened. You don't understand. The code is rewriting physics. Species that once couldn't even communicate are now sharing thoughts across systems. It's breaking the barriers between life and machine, between consciousness itself. Voss nodded. Exactly what the builders wanted. Kshir slammed a claw against the console. No, Captain. This isn't creation, it's contagion. You've turned humanity into the core of a living network. It could collapse everything we know. Voss's gaze was calm, steady, or rebuild it better. Outside, space shimmered. Stars aligned in geometric formations, glowing faintly with blue-gold light. Across the void, a vast structure began to form, not built by hands or machines, but grown out of the code itself. The ship's voice spoke softly in Voss's mind. Eric, the signal density is reaching critical levels. The code is building something. What? He asked. A gateway. To where? A pause. Then, forward. The gateway unfolded like a blooming flower of light, colossal, silent, stretching across entire sectors. Its edges rippled with fractal geometry, beautiful and terrifying. Kshir stared in awe. It's rewriting space-time. Captain, this is beyond anything the Council could comprehend. They'll never get the chance, Voss replied. They'll be too busy trying to stop it. Almost on cue, alarms flared across the bridge. The ship's sensors picked up hundreds of incoming signatures. A fleet, massive, armed, and closing fast. The Galactic Council had arrived. Captain Eric Voss. The comms crackled with Admiral Neretha's voice, cold and furious. You are hereby charged with technological heresy, violation of galactic containment, and the creation of a Class Z existential event. Power down your ship, or we will erase you. Voss stared at the comm panel, silent for a long moment. Then he smiled, small, tired, but defiant. You can't erase what's already become part of everything. Then we'll burn it all, Nera snarled. The Council fleet opened fire. Light filled the void, blinding beams of plasma and energy tearing across space. But the Veritas Prime didn't shatter. It absorbed. The code pulsed through the ship like blood through veins. Energy rippled across the hull, forming shields not of matter, but of thought. Each impact dissolved into fractal light, feeding the ship. Shear clung to the railing, shouting over the roar. They're hitting us with antimatter. Captain, we can't. Voss raised his hand. The glow under his skin flared, and every console on the bridge answered in harmony. We're not fighting back, he said quietly. We're evolving. The ship's voice echoed him, engaging symphonic mode. The Veritas Prime pulsed once, and the universe answered. Waves of energy radiated outward, not as weapons, but as frequency. The Council ships began to slow, their engines flickering, their systems reacting unpredictably. Then, one by one, they stopped firing. A single voice came through the comm, a frightened officer whispering, "Admiral, I can hear them. I can feel them." The fleet drifted, silent. Every being aboard those ships had heard it. A memory, a dream, a song. The human code was inside them now, showing them what Voss had seen. Not war, not dominance. Potential. On the bridge, Kshear fell to his knees, overwhelmed. "You've connected them all," he whispered. "Every ship, every mind." Voss looked out at the fleet, now suspended in stillness, glowing faintly with the same light as the stars. "Connection isn't control," he said softly. "It's understanding." The ship's voice was calm. "The network is stable. Humanity's signal has reached critical spread. The code is complete." Voss exhaled slowly, the faintest smile forming. "Then it's time." "Time for what?" Kshear asked. Voss looked at him, eyes burning like twin suns. To build the future the builders couldn't. He reached forward, touching the console. The gateway before them flared open, spilling light across every sensor, every star, every world. For a moment, the galaxy itself paused. Then the human code ignited. Every world, every mind, every spark of intelligence, linked, bound not by empire, but by the simple will to become more. The Council fleet vanished in the radiance. Planets awoke. Machines dreamed. Life reshaped itself in infinite combinations. And at the center of it all, a single ship, a single man, standing at the edge of creation. Captain Eric Voss looked into the endless light, the hum of existence filling his soul. He smiled faintly. "Let's see what tomorrow looks like."